The following program is rated TV MALV. It contains strong language, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Hey,
Here we go, Barflies. Welcome to the Barfly Tailgate Show. You already know it's done by Barflies for Barflies and all the other Bears fans out there. Good morning, Hall of Fame week. What's going on, fellas? Barflies, all the above. As you can see, my man Tooch is here. He has about an hour, and then he's got to go. My man KB is on his way. And our guy, Chris Watts, is on the IR. Well, his laptop is. He messaged me earlier this week and said, hey, laptop's out. It'll be middle of August before I get another one. I don't know if that's a shipping issue or what in England. But, so we're a little shorthanded this morning, but it's Hall of Fame week. So, and the Bears are front and center this week with playing the Hall of Fame game and inducting three former great Chicago Bears into the Hall of Fame to boost the status of still being the most Hall of Fame recognized football team in the NFL. I believe that's how I would word that. But how you doing this morning, Tooch? What's going on?
Doing good. I paid for an hour of high def internet at the hotel here in Itasca, Illinois for the Barflies. Hope you appreciate it. Doing it for you. So
Definitely.
Got Bears football Thursday.
That's right. We're 4 days away from Bears football kicking off. I've been listening to all the other podcasts about what's going on at training camp and how everybody's looking. I ordered my Caleb Williams t-shirt jersey, but Fanatics is Monopoly who decides when and when not to send you your shit, and it really, really upsets me. But that's neither here nor there, and apparently there's nothing we can do about it. But whenever that comes in, I'll have my Caleb Williams jersey because, I was looking back at past pictures of, and it seems like I had the Trubisky jersey. I call it a jersey because it's a shirt jersey. I had the Trubisky one. I had the Fields one. So I was like, I got to get the Caleb Williams one and just keep up with the tradition. But we'll see how this one works out. But speaking of things that work out well for you, man, that I miss seeing every weekend. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. KB, K Bizzle. Good morning, brother. How I had.
Yeah, Adam. I didn't touch nothing. He's on there, but hold on. Let's see. Here we go.
Hey, look
there he is. What's up, KB?
Back in 720, not 4K, but 720. You feel me? What's going on? How you boys doing this morning?
Doing pretty good, brother.
Doing well.
Hey, man, it's good to see y'all shining. Y'all beautiful faces again.
I got rid of that thing up there so he wasn't behind it.
Hey, man.
All right.
What we got going on this morning, man? I see we got we talking to a little Fanatics. People not getting jerseys.
Well, I went on my little rant there, but the majority of what we're talking about, we're going to talk about the Bears that got into the Hall of Fame, and maybe a little bit about the Hall of Fame game. I don't know how much of it I'm gonna see what I'm really looking for, what I really want to see. we might get a series of the starters if we're lucky.
Yeah,
but
I was gonna say, I don't even think
he's not going to play much, is he? Right?
I don't think.
One series, maybe.
Yeah, but we'll start off first with the Bears that got into the Hall of Fame. A guy that many Bears fans hold near and dear to their heart. Steve Mongo McMichael, the defensive tackle for the beloved 85 Bears, got into the Hall of Fame. Finally, he was long overdue. A guy it was my first Bears jersey, Devin Hester. He got into the Hall of Fame. Greatest return man of all time. Changed the game, changed the rules. And then a guy that a lot of people will forget about because of where he went after he left Chicago and technically where he was drafted at. But Julius Peppers, the day we signed him, I went and bought his jersey. So, it's I love Julius Peppers as well, and he'll always be a Bear to me, regardless of where he went after. But three more great Bears, and as I was saying in the intro, the Bears have the most Hall of Famers of any NFL team, and we just boost that number up a little bit more, which I love. And Tooch, if you'd like to talk a little about Mongo, because as I told you off there, Mongo to me, like, I knew what he did, I knew his stats, and I saw clips, but I was born in '88, actually. Happy birthday to me. Today's my birthday. Turned 36.
Birthday.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about as soon as you switched over to me. We forgot some business here.
But
happy birthday to the young man.
Thank you. So I didn't see him there, but I saw him in the squared circle, the wrestling ring in WCW, when he was part of the Four Horsemen with Ric Flair and Arn Anderson and all those guys. So he's I knew what he was on the field, but off the field, he was a larger than life character, which is another reason why I'm really shocked this long to get into the Hall of Fame. Considering when he retired, he had more sacks than any other defensive tackle in the league. Like that's they're not in 4 years when Aaron Donald's time is up. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but they would never do that. They didn't do that with Mongo. It doesn't. But Tooch, if you want to talk a little bit about Mongo on the field, I would appreciate it.
Yep, I was in high school for the Super Bowl Shuffle year,
Uh-oh.
so it was like, man, it was like finally, this was like senior year of high school for me. It was like the Bears are going. It was like I'm graduating high school. We got the Bears this Super Bowl. They're dominating and everything, and Mongo was awesome, man. All the characters, they were all larger than life, from the Fridge to Walter to McMahon to Hampton and McMichael. And the story of McMichael's great, undersized defensive tackle out of Texas. We poached him from the Patriots, who we ended up playing in the Super Bowl that year. And it's great that he's finally getting in, especially with his condition and everything, at the last possible moment. But we also had Devin Hester, who was, man, they both were cheat codes. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
Hester was a cheat code, and if you played Tecmo Bowl way back then, McMichael was a cheat code. You could get in there, block field goals and stuff with McMichael, and then Dennis Gentry, you could return all the kicks. And man, I spent way too much time playing Tecmo Bowl when I was younger.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm so happy for all three of the Bears that are going in on Thursday, and we got Bears football Thursday. I mean, come on, we've been waiting 4, 5, 6 months just to see some Bears football.
Any kind of action.
Absolutely. KB, if you want to talk a little bit about the Hall of Famers that made it in and what they meant to you and what you'll remember about them and stuff.
So, I mean, obviously, McMichael, I'm a 90s baby. I was born in 90, so I didn't get to experience them at all with my fandom. So my fandom kind of really kicked off with Hester and Peppers. So I remember us signing Julius Peppers. I remember the day when it happened, and it was one of those shocking things because it was just like, Julius Peppers, really? He's coming to Chicago? And he just kind of was all over the place. It was kind of like the reaction you had when Khalil Mack came to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Peppers was just a freak athlete. He damn near seemed unblockable in Carolina. And then you were getting that with Urlacher, Briggs, Tommy Harris, these boys along this line, this secondary with Vasher and Tillman at that time. I think we had Tim Jennings, honestly, which is one of my more underrated favorites for the Bears. But I was just so excited to get somebody of that caliber to come. And then, of course, everybody knows Devin Hester, man. I'll never forget, man, the Cardinals game. I was watching. We were losing. It was like 2 or 3 minutes left in the game. And I was like, man, look, I'm going to bed, bro. I'm not staying up for this shit. Turned in, woke up the next morning. Like I said, I'm in high school at the time. I go to school, I got a mean look on my face. I'm just pissed. And people looking, what's going on, man? I'm like, man, y'all ain't see the Bears game, bro. They threw that game last night, bro. They're like, what are you talking about? They won. What? No, they did. We were down like 2 touchdowns. What are you talking about? It was like 2 minutes left. They was like, oh, you should have stayed up. You should have stayed up. That boy Hester. That's all I heard. That boy Hester and Urlacher. That's all I heard. So I finally, this is the age where you had to look up highlights, like legit look highlights up. And then I seen the returns. I seen the interception. I was like, bro, what the hell? Yeah. And just Super Bowl, man, being at Buffalo Wild Wings with a table full of friends with whose jersey did I have at that time? I think I had a Thomas Jones jersey. My Thomas Jones jersey sitting at a table across from a bunch of Colts fans talking cash shit.
Oh, yeah, because you live in Indiana, huh?
Yes. And then Devin Hester ends up returning the first kick. Oh, my God. Coincidentally, that was the last noise you heard out of me for the rest of that night. But, hey, we started off with a bang. I was happy to see at least those 2 players play. And I'm just blessed to know that they made it into Hall of Fame, and I'm happy for them.
Yeah, it's really great. Like I said, Mongo, I saw him in WCW more than I saw him on the field, but I've seen the highlights and stuff. You bring up the Bears Cardinals game. That's they were who we thought they were, and they let them off the hook. If you look back at the highlights, it's nothing we did on offense. Hester returned a kick. Urlacher took it back a pick 6, and that's how we won games. We just dominated defensively. Devin Hester was a legitimate weapon. Like I said, he was my first Bears jersey. KB, Daddy KB over here. But Hester was my first Bears jersey, so I've always loved him and been a big fan of his. And I remember in Madden when his speed was at 100 because he was just, he's a weapon, man. There was nothing. People legitimately wouldn't kick to him. You know what I'm saying? They would just, no, we're not kicking to Devin. We're not going to let him ruin this game. So he was definitely, anyone who thinks that he didn't deserve it is wrong. I know Yurko on ESPN 1000 was always, I don't know if he's changed his tune or not, but he was always big about, oh, we don't need specialists in the Hall of Fame, blah, 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 whatever. But he was different, man. He was there. I wish he could have took off more as a receiver because they tried to pigeonhole him into the number 1 receiver for Jay Cutler, and it just wasn't there. And then we kept adding to Julius Peppers. Like I said, I bought his jersey the day we signed him. I was stationed in Korea at the time, and I remember my Facebook is different now. I lost that Facebook, but I remember writing a Facebook status that said, "All I want is Julius Peppers." Like the day that free agency opened, and they went and got him. They went and woke him up at midnight and signed him on the dotted line. They wanted him so bad. They went and got him, which was great for our defense. But again, we were overpowered on defense, and then on offense, you had Jay trying to make it happen with Hester, and we had a good running game, but they went away from it, drafting Cedric Benson. It was a mess, but that's neither here nor there.
So close
right.
with the Lovey Bears at the returning the opening kickoff,
Mm-hmm.
In the Super Bowl, and then Peyton Manning took over, a bunch of mistakes, not running Thomas Jones enough. I thought we had a good chance to get out of that Super Bowl with a win, but You know, we got a new era.
Yeah. It seemed perfect. You know, you return the kickoff.
Yeah.
You play
Like, here we
great
go.
defense already.
Mhm.
It started raining. We were like, okay, we got this. And then I don't know, it just didn't work out. But hopefully, yeah, like you said, Tooch, new era with Bears. We drafted Caleb Williams, number 1 overall. Perennial. Everyone looked at this guy as being the guy. Everyone keeps asking me at work about him, and I'm just like, man, I'm trying to temper my expectations because I loved Justin Fields in college, and I had high expectations for him, and it really let me down when he did not live up to those expectations. So for Caleb Williams, we've put a lot of stuff around him to help him out. If the defense continues to play like they did the second half of last season, we'll be in pretty good shape. We just, I don't know. I have decent expectations, but I'm not going to come on here and say I think we're going to go 13-4 or whatever. I'm not going to do that because I've seen this. I've had my hopes that high before, and then my team let me down. So I'm like I said, I'm trying to temper my expectations. But as far as the game, is there anything that Tooch? I'll go to you first, and then KB. What exactly are you looking for in this Hall of Fame game? Like I said, I know we'll probably see like the starters, maybe a series if we're lucky. So what other things are you looking for?
Yeah, it's going to be strange. I mean, I don't think we'll see the starters of the Texans much either, you know, but this is a team where you can definitely draw comparisons with the Bears too. They have a young quarterback. They have 3 talented wide receivers, the talented running back as well. They signed Joe Mixon in the offseason. And Stephon Diggs, you know, those are 2 quality players. CJ Stroud, does he take a step back or a step forward? With Caleb Williams, we don't know what we're going to get. How does he adapt to you know, taking snaps under center, NFL defenses, sticking to an offense? An offense he ran in college is completely different.
Right.
You know, it's wide open. You know, there wasn't really a running back to dump off. I know Marshawn Lloyd was there. He's with the Packers now. But Marshawn Lloyd would get out and get some distance. You know, he'd split out and run pass patterns. That's a guy we have to watch out for when we play the Packers. But Caleb Williams, by all accounts, has shown a lot of leadership in training camp, breaking up some fights, running around, dropping some dimes in. But we got to remember, like you said, we've got to temper expectations. It's training camp. What worries me about the Bears this season is that last 8 games of the schedule, where 6 of them are division games. I've never seen that before with the Bears schedule. That's going to be a super hard test for the Bears. Six division games. Those are always the toughest games. The teams hate each other. You know, they're what Dan Hampton used to call slobber knockers. You know, where you know, teams beat up on each other. You know, back at the times of McMichael, where it was Ditka versus Forrest Gregg and the Packers. Man, those teams hated each other. It was like cheap shots everywhere. You know, you think back of Charles Martin body slamming Jim McMahon way after the play was over.
Yeah,
you know, but that's the kind of last half of the season we're going to see. Now, a lot of Bears fans are thinking 14-3. We're going. You know, I would love to see it happen. But I mean, like I said, Vegas has set the over/under at 8.5, which seems a lot more realistic. You know, 8-9 wins. You know, I know we won 7 last year, so if we win 8, we win 9. That's improvement from last year. We're going to get better passing. I'm like Aaron. I like Justin Fields as well. I mean, maybe I was afraid we gave. You know, my biggest regret was that we gave up on him too early. But when you go back and you think about it, we couldn't do anything with Devin Hester, and that's been the story of Bears offenses. We can't make these play. We can't, when we have a lot of talent, we can't make them into you know, Pro Bowl caliber talent. I mean, maybe with Shane Waldron in the offense, Caleb Williams, and the trio of wide receivers we have here, maybe that'll change. We got Gerald Everett, Cole Kmet, and DeAndre Swift too. So
many weapons.
I know I'm talking a lot here, but one thing that does give me a little bit of hope for getting to that 8-9 win, maybe 10 win mark is 2 players on the Bears, Keenan Allen, who's going to move the chains. Sometimes he's almost uncoverable. And I'm hoping that a lot of that rubs off on Rome, you know, and then you got DJ Moore, who's going to probably spend a little bit more time in the slot where he's awfully dangerous. And then Torrey Taylor, the punter. That's an X factor that we haven't considered. I mean, people knock on the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Hey, he was the best weapon they had, wasn't he?
I mean, you pin teams inside the 5. It's going to be hard for them to march 95 yards against Eberflus's defense. So that's something we got to look out for.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. KB, tell me what you're watching for Thursday, and then I'll try and wrap it up a little bit.
I'm watching for football. I don't expect anybody to any significant players to play.
If Cuz is playing, have you texted him?
Since he's been in training camp, I ain't really get to hear from him much. I know me and him had talked. He said he was willing to jump on the pod, and I was like, all right, cool. We'll get the day squared away for you to jump on, and then time just kind of got away with trying to set something up. I didn't realize at that point when training camp was. So I don't know if he's going to play. Probably not. They are going pretty hard in practice right now, though. But as far as the game, bro, just look for a lot of the bottom bottom of the barrel players to play. And I'm not saying that in any derogatory way. They're saying a lot of those back end roster players are going to be playing a lot.
We got to talk about some of those guys because there's a few I want to talk about. But I do want to see if Bajan's going to play, or if they're going to lean more toward the guy they brought from Seattle. Just to see what's going on. I see you hear. There's another guy too, right? There's a fourth, Austin Reed. Is that his name? Western Kentucky quarterback.
Yeah, what I'm saying. Yeah, I guess it's chatter going around saying that Bajan might not make the team. Who knows? I don't know.
They said that his practice yesterday. I was listening to CHGO, and Mark Harmon's a huge Bajan fan. Like, I almost think it's a stick. You know what I mean? I think it's a stick they do on their show. But
you gotta like the kid, man. He showed some guts last season,
right? But they almost push it as he wishes he was the starter as their shtick. So, but in the depth chart when it came out, it said him or Brett Rippon as the number 2 quarterback. Like I said, we'll probably only see the starters one series. I'd really like to see, because the cadence was a big talking point for Bears media and Bears as the team, because when Caleb was in college, it was a clap cadence, and now he has to actually speak and be loud and like you said, too, she's got to go up under center sometimes, something he hasn't done probably since high school, and get used to all that kind of stuff. And we've got a new center, whether it's the guy they signed from LA or if it's Ryan Bates, who they traded for, who they've wanted for a couple of years. You've got left tackle. What are we doing out there? I mean, Braxton Jones is injured, and from what I understand, Larry Borum is dealing with an injury as well. So you're down to your third string left tackle going into the first preseason.
It's a huge concern.
You are. that's your quarterback's blind side.
You're going to be putting the rookie Amagaji out there before too long. I think they signed him to play guard.
Hell, is he even back practicing yet? Because when he hurt coming in,
he was hurt too. He had a quad injury, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So we'll be that's what I'm going to be. A lot of people are in the chat talking about O-lines and issue.
Chat room is all over it. They're all over it. We're not going to lie. We're with you too, man. That was my biggest concern offseason. We drafted my
number one concern. And they say Darnell Wright is looking okay, but he's going up against Montez Sweat every day in practice. So you're either going to get better or get your ass kicked. That's pretty much what you're going with. But they said he's been okay. They don't know if he's looked like a top 10 draft pick thus far, but he's been okay.
Going against a top 10 defensive end.
Right.
Although it's only number 82 out of 100 at the NFL, I think that's going to change after this season, right?
I haven't even watched it this year. I don't expect to see many Bears on the top 100 if I'm honest.
I tell you, after this season, you might see Caleb Williams on there.
Probably.
I mean, the way they're hyping him up, man, that's like, and everyone. It's weird when everyone's saying this dude is the dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like usually you've got someone somewhere. I think we had one dude who said that he didn't like Caleb, and he was the guy who liked C.J. Stroud. I can't remember who it was that said that, but that was how he was standing on business, as they say, is that he likes C.J. Stroud and he doesn't like Caleb Williams. But I don't know, man. Like I said, it's such a crapshoot because, like, I'm on record of saying I thought Will Levis was going to be the second best quarterback of last year's class, and after the first year, it looks like okay, maybe Aaron was right, but I thought I was biased because he played in Kentucky, you know. But I mean, that's another thing. You were talking about the schedule overall. The Bears play the Titans and the Bengals both in Chicago. I was like, y'all couldn't come down here for one of them.
Right.
So
one.
Right. No, I mean, it's right to despair a little bit because our franchise quarterback is playing behind that offensive line,
right.
You know? So, I mean, we cannot get that kid killed. He's going to be running around a lot of broken plays. Thankfully, he's got the escapability. And that escapability has been compared to Patrick Mahomes. We could only be so lucky.
Man, I've been seeing, and I don't want to get in over my skis on this, but the clips that you see from training camp where he's doing the crossbody stuff and Air Caleb, like I try my best. Like I said, I'm trying to temper my expectations because I have done this over and over and over again. But
if you could, I mean, we're doing it a little differently than the Chiefs, where Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith. Here, we're throwing Caleb Williams right into it. Granted, he's got a lot of skill.
We don't have an Alex Smith.
We don't have an Alex Smith, right? He's got a lot of skill position talent to rely on, but throwing him in the fire behind an offensive line, you see why the chat room is fretting a little bit.
Yeah, and then on the other side of the ball, like I asked KB about his cousin earlier, the dude Big Dex seems to be taking off. They say his get off is better. Yeah. He's getting a lot closer to what they expect out of him. He's lost a lot of weight this offseason, gotten great shape. He said he cut out all the snack foods. Good props to you, brother. I can't do it. I don't know. But and then of course Montez Sweat, and then we'll be watching that other side to see if one of these guys really pop off or if they end up going out and get Ngakoue still out there. Maybe they'll sign him back, or we'll see what the Rook can do out of Kansas. I mean, I liked what I saw.
A lot of praise from Sweat on Booker. He says he said Sweat said Booker's ahead of where he was as a rookie.
Yeah. And then, of course, we've got Zach Pickens, who we drafted as well. So we got a bunch of young guys, and we'll be watching in the trenches to see
they say
how all that.
Gervon's been unblockable. He got off the honey buns.
Yeah, I'm a big
fan. You got to throw them in the microwave for about 10 seconds.
And then they're good to go.
I had to throw that up there just because it's so funny. It was a midnight snack of honey buns. That was holding it back from a Pro Bowl season, KB.
Hey, man. You know what, man? They would do that to you, baby. They would do
those things sit in your stomach like an anvil. After you eat one of those heavy, it's like, oh.
Man, just sit there. Like I said, 10 seconds, baby. Yeah. You get a little bit of ice cream, put that on top of it, too.
Hey, you better stop playing.
Oh man!
But Tooch, you got the roster pulled up. Maybe we can talk about some of the bottom of the roster guys, linebackers, D-line, O-line. Of course, those guys are becoming starters at this point.
Look, the strength of this team is one of the strengths of the team besides the skill position is going to be the secondary. You got players like Jalen Johnson, Jaquan Brisker, Tyreek Stevenson is a hell of a player. That was a great pick last year. But there's one dude that's been making some noise, and he was a player that was at Troy. His name's Reddy Stewart. Had 9 interceptions at Troy. He's been all over the place in training camp. So I like to see this kid, Reddy Stewart from Troy, is a cornerback. Kyler Gordon is another good player in the secondary. Then you got Pro Bowl player like Byard. who came over the free agency from the Titans. I mean, the secondary is going to be good this year. I know Eddie Jackson is gone, but he was towards the end of his career. Although the Ravens, I think, took a chance on him.
Baltimore, man,
this offseason.
So him and Roquan back in Baltimore together.
And then another guy would be Jacob Martin, who has been making some noise across from Montez Sweat at the other defensive end. He played in this defense for the Texans under Lovie Smith, so he knows the system. He's a guy that can rotate in there, but you got to think that they're going to sign somebody. Maybe Ngakoue comes back, like you said, AC, or another guy that's been mentioned is Carl Lawson. A little bit older player, doesn't know the defense, though.
I thought Carl Lawson signed with
Did he just sign? It was a big.
The Dolphins had brought. No, that was.
They signed Ogba. So the thing with they signed Shaq Barrett, and then he retired. But when they signed Shaq Barrett, Ogba retired because it's like, what the hell, And then Barrett retired, and Ogba came out of retirement to go back to the Dolphins.
Michael Gallup retired this week. His 8-year career, and then he's done. He's done at 28. I don't know if he's going to go into coaching or what, but it's been a wild offseason. I'm waiting. We were the betting favorites to sign Bakhtiari. I mean, if we're hurting at left tackle,
I know he's hurt. Out there?
As far as I know, he is. I don't know how he's not a Jet.
That's a great point. Point, AC. I mean, maybe they signed a left tackle off the streets. With all the injuries, couldn't hurt.
If the guy that Poles is really putting all of his chips in his bag, Braxton. I like Braxton, but if he's hurt and can't play, like you gotta make a move. You can't.
I was gonna say, man, I don't know if he's been signed yet either, but I was gonna say outside of Bakhtiari, the other person was Connor Williams. If we got guards hurt too, man. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing both of their asses in if you could.
Isn't Connor Williams injured as well though?
He is coming off an injury still, but they said I think they said by the beginning of training camp he would be ready to go. Is what his agent was putting out there. So,
I mean, maybe that'll be something that we're watching during this preseason. Some of these guys, if they've been in the league a long time, I remember Brett Favre used to do it. He was fucking retired, so he didn't have to do training camp, and then sign with somebody after training camp was over, or coming in, work a little bit during the preseason. But maybe that's something we'll watch for a left tackle, defensive end. But Tooch, you were talking about the secondary. I've been watching the Hard Knocks with the Giants for the offseason, which I'm a nerd, so I fucking love it. I love to see all behind the scenes stuff.
I haven't watched it.
Going down.
Aldo said it was good. These are the guys that are available. I just did this real fast. If any of these guys interest you.
So if you're listening on podcasts, we got Donovan Smith, David Bakhtiari, DJ Humphries, Jason Peters, Charles Leno.
Bring back the Walrus.
Cam Irvin, Dwayne Brown, Riley Reef, and Connor McDermott. Wasn't Riley Reef here for a cup of coffee?
Yeah, I don't think he did. I don't think he got a couple snaps. That's about it though. Any of those guys interest you, KB?
Like I said, man, Donovan Smith is an old wily vet that kind of sparks my ears, man. Like I said, of course, Bakhtiari.
Bakhtiari was a good player when he was healthy.
He's a great player.
Yep.
I mean, when Bakhtiari is healthy, he's a top 5 left tackle in the league. Let's not beat around the bush. He protected Aaron Rodgers' blind side for years, and he's a football guy. Have you seen him at hockey games, chugging beers? Imagine how Chicago would take to this guy.
Yeah.
If they signed him, like
he'd be just like how we had what was Buddy's name that came from Green Bay that was instantly here, was like the best lineman we had. Josh Sitton.
Josh Sitton. Yep.
Josh Sitton. He would be the Josh Sitton of Chicago.
Making fat guys look good.
Exactly.
Athletic fat guy. I love it.
To me, I would say number one on the list would be Bakhtiari. Especially if you're dealing with
Cornelius,
with my boy Jones having the injury. Like I said, Dwayne Brown is another intriguing one because he's just a wily vet. Be good for the locker room. Well, probably very good for Braxton Jones' growth. Then the other name I seen on there, it's not McDermott. I think it might have been Tyler. I've seen that name before. Yeah, Billy. It's Billy Turner. That's what I'm thinking about. Billy Turner. And and Dwayne Brown. Didn't see Dwayne Brown on there too. Yep. Dwayne Brown, and I've heard of Billy Turner. Billy Turner is decent. That he'd be a nice stopgap. And Dwayne Brown's a little up there in age as well.
Yep.
But also a good stopgap.
Former All-Pro.
You don't call Jason Peters off
his
fishing
He was
boat
39
again?
when he signed with us. He was 39. I think he's got to be 40, 41.
Yeah, I'm about to say Peters got to be pushing 50, bro. I don't
call him Grandpa Peters. Come on over here and protect our blind side.
I see Squall said Bakhtiari might be overrated because of Rodgers' release. Yeah, that could be true. I mean, there was a lot of Bears fans saying that he was whole Jesus. But if what we're saying is true about Caleb with his release being quick.
Whole Jesus.
So, hey, man.
I mean, that's the one thing I have noticed about Caleb. You know, his release is really quick. He's able to do a bunch of different. Because I was worried about his size a little bit. That was, Jordan. He's sizeless. That was his biggest issue with Caleb was him being 6'1". And but his release point, he's able to change. Like they said, there was one pass during training camp where he kind of sidearmed it, like, to get it around Dexter. Dexter was jumping up or something, and he got it like around his big body. He's been that height his whole life. He knows how to deal with it. He knows how to make different. And remember how he did when he had Jordan Addison. He tore it up and played really, won a Heisman. So now he's got 3 legitimate wide receivers, 2 legitimate tight ends, 2 running backs. We didn't even talk about this, but apparently Khalil Herbert has been on fire in training camp. Now they're not hitting yet, they're not tackling yet, but that's something to watch for. I mean, they just signed a guy. Khalil Herbert's job might have been on the line where he's on that rookie contract.
Yep.
That contract's coming up. They're gonna have to make a decision on what to do with him, and if he's clearly head and shoulders above Roschon Johnson. We'll have to see what the Bears brass do about Khalil Herbert. What do you think, Tooch?
Yeah, I mean, I love Khalil Herbert. I was like, why would they get rid of this guy? But yeah, like I said, there's contract issues and stuff. He's got breakaway speed. He's got to be the fastest of our running backs. Homer, he's like a special teams guy, right? Travis Homer. And then they have that one rookie, Ian Booker. Is that his name? Ian Wheeler?
Wheeler.
Ian Wheeler.
Like D2 or D3.
Right, he's a running back. And of course, you got Roschon Johnson, who he drafted in the 4th round last year. Man, I wasn't that impressed with Roschon Johnson. That's just me. But I liked some of his film coming out of college. But I don't know.
Hey man,
we'll see. We got to give him more of a chance.
I use Roschon like they use Kyle Juszczyk in goddamn San Fran, bro.
Yeah. Look,
you just put Buddy in as a super back, bro. Move him all around. I think that'd be his best bet. I love some of the burst plays he had, but you're coming in with fresh legs. I would love to see him get more time because I was a Roschon Johnson fan. He was kind of like how I felt about David Montgomery, where I didn't think we would get him, and then we ended up getting him. But he just has to be used more. But like I said, you got Herbert, you got what's my boy's name that we just got? God damn it, the running back.
Swift.
Yeah, Swift. You get Swift.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift.
That's a hard rotation to break into, man.
Yep.
You got joystick level of fun with Swift, and then you just got pure speed and one cut ability out of Herbert.
Yep.
Imagine if they put Caleb back there with Swift on one side and Herbert on the other. Like we've been asking them to do
scary shit.
Like both those guys going out in the route. That's the only question though, is neither one of those are strong blockers. I don't know what Roschon Johnson is blocking wise, but that's the biggest knock on Herbert and Swift is their blocking ability. Yeah. And we've got the defense. You know what Brian Flores is going to do in Minnesota. He's bringing the heat. So you've got to you just got to step up and do your job. I don't know.
I dare him to bring that heat this year with Allen and Moore. That's a speed. Oh yeah.
That's Jordan's team now.
Gerald Everett and Komet, man. One of those guys is gonna be open. DeAndre Swift sneak out in the flat. But yeah, go ahead, bring the blitz, Jordan.
That's Jordan's team now. If anybody's wondering why Jordan is no longer on Barfly Tailgate Show,
right?
He rode the JJ McCarthy train all the way to Minnesota, and
is he on a Vikings Vikings podcast too? Maybe
I don't know. I was like, dude, we might bring you in Vikings week, but I just don't. I think it's a conflict of interest.
That's all right. I love Jordan. I mean, he's a smart kid, Jordan.
Oh yeah, I love him. I love, especially during draft time when we're talking about. Like I said, we could bring up a dude from Cornell, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I saw some tape on that guy." Like the fuck?
Yep.
Oh my god!
But here's the guy I was talking about, Reddy Stewart, 5'11", 180 out of Troy.
Speaking of tough rotations to get into, that's one of them right there. Like the starters are pretty much locked down.
He's wearing number 46 defense. So
no, that's a beautiful number to have in the secondary.
Yep.
We'll have to see.
Great number.
We'll have to see if he's a guy that they showcase in the preseason or if he's a guy they try to kind of hide so they can try to sneak onto that practice squad because where we have injuries. Like last year, we were down to, at one point in the season, we were down to, I thought they were going to call me to come play some safety or something. I don't know. But
I'll tell you, we're about a week from Tuesday. We got Hard Knocks training camp with the Bears.
Hell yeah!
For years, we've been wishing the Bears would do the damn show, and now we finally get it. We get the good one too. It's the longest one. It's the most in-depth one. And
the most interesting one.
Yeah, most interesting one. All the training camp battles and follow a kid. Reddy Stewart could be one of the kids that they showcase trying to make the team. Could be the running back out of Howard, Wheeler, or somebody like that. Maybe there's a few wide receivers who've been making some noise. Let me see who they were talking about. Forgive me, I don't have the name off the top of my head.
It's all right.
There's
KB, is this your cousin's first time on Hard Knocks? I know he was with the Bengals, and they had Hard Knocks. He was with Cleveland, and were they all there after he left? Was it like
because he kind of brought it up when we were talking. He's just like, man, low key, don't nobody want them there.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of noticed. Like they asked Justin about it last year, and he was like, I'm just trying to focus on me. I ain't trying to.
Yeah. So I don't think he's been on it. From what we talked about a little bit about it, because I was like, hey man, we got Hard Knocks. He was like, man,
don't nobody want that shit. And we're like, we fucking want that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm a
nerd. I want to see what's going on.
Right. I'm like, I can't always be on the phone with you talking about this shit, man. I gotta get my stuff from somebody else.
Yeah.
So, but
maybe
I don't think
he's not doing anything the bye week. I know sometimes they plan getaways on their bye week or something.
Yeah.
But maybe we can have him in on the bye week.
Yeah, I'm gonna text him again and see what he say. Because like I said, when I said something to him, he was like,
questions I want to ask him.
Yeah. He made jokes because I was like, man, I said, look, I got my jerseys coming in. He was like, oh man, I appreciate that. He said it's gonna be you and one other person. I was like, man, look, I know 2 other people that got jerseys.
That's right. I got one and my wife's got one. We got the blue one and the white one. I love Big Billings. That's my boy. Juggernaut is what they call him, huh?
Man. That's another strength of the team, the defensive line, man. I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Gervon and Sweat and Cuz, that's a solid guys.
Yeah.
Right there, solid.
Yeah, and Flus always talks about having multiple rotations of D-line, and it seems like they're trying to get it for him. I mean, and I'm so happy that Billings got the extension because
hell yeah.
I love
where else would we want to see him play?
Nowhere else.
Go ahead.
As we go, we have Cuz Austin Booker's look good. Yeah, Byron Coert, Gervon, Michael Dwumfor, who's a second-year player out of Michigan, Daniel Hardy, second-year player out of Montana State, Carl Jones Jr., rookie we signed
We got a Carl's Jr. on the team.
Carl Jones Jr. Yep.
Now I'm hungry.
Packing on the burgers.
Yep, another guy who's had some buzz, a big, either a big end or a smaller tackle, 6'4", 275 out of James Madison. That's Jamri Chroma. And then you got Jacob Martin, who we were just talking about. Keith Randolph Jr., a rookie out of Illinois. He's going to be someone to watch, a good defensive tackle. And then whatever happened to Dominique Robinson,
He's still there.
D-Rob's still out there.
No, I know. He's got to start doing something.
They're showing him like, hey, put up or shut up, bro. Like,
I was gonna say, I know that boy out of James Madison was pretty much priority signing, kind of like Keith.
Yep.
They said that he was a really good pass rusher, so that'd be interesting to see.
Yep, and then of course DeMarcus Walker, who's been getting some play time. He's a leader in the clubhouse, so you got to figure he'll probably get the start at end. Passing situations, bring in Booker and Martin.
That's Big Cousin's homeboy, ain't him and DeMarcus are good friends, close to each other. So, yeah, I mean, we got a lot of competition out there. We'll see how it all plays out for sure. You talked about Matthew Fochese is saying, anybody know how the tight ends are looking? As far as I know, Cole Kmet has the TE1 locked down, and I would imagine that Gerald Everett has the TE2 locked down. Behind that, they signed a Kentucky guy, Brandon Bates, who was a blocking tight end here at Kentucky. So he'll be more of a and they brought back Mercedes Lewis, which not as a coach, as a player. So
God bless him. 40 years old, 19 years in the league.
I'm 36. I couldn't imagine being out there. I played softball last year. And just running out of the batter's box to first base, my hamstrings were like, "What are you doing, bro?" So I could not imagine being 40 out there playing tight end.
Man, look, just to be on that type of tip. Last year, I played flag football with my brother. When I say the next day, I was supposed to have left to come back to Indiana because it was in Kansas City. Oh no, I was down. I was down. Yeah, I'm laying on the counter. Like, I need somebody to rub me, please.
Yep.
I'm hurting.
Heat. I need some icy hot. I don't know.
Get the Tiger's Balm, extra straight.
The Tiger's Balm. Yeah. So I mean, that's what I'll see in the tight end. That's the room. Brandon Bates might be a guy who they can put on the practice squad.
You got to think Mercedes will be out there, the veteran leadership in the locker room. Then you got guys like Steven Carlson, who's been with the Bears for, a couple cups of coffee, and the Tommy Sweeney, a fifth-year player out of Boston College. I think played for the Panthers, trying to make the team. So we'll see. It'll sort of shake itself out in training camp.
And we'll get to see it for sure on Hard Knocks. Man, I'm so fired up for Hard Knocks. Like I said, I've been watching the Giants one. I've been really fired up. They've been showing behind, they even show on draft night this is what a lot of people didn't like about it. They were telling them what the Bears were offering to come up from 9 to 6. He was going to throw in a third and or a fourth to try and move up to make sure he got Rome. But we ended up getting Rome anyway, which is that's another thing that's cool is because when they bring in Caleb Williams in for a visit, they bring in Rome for a visit. You can see what these guys look like behind closed doors when they're just interviewing them, just talking to the guys. Malik Neighbors, I mean, he was a dog at LSU, and that's who they ended up drafting. I just can't trust Daniel Jones,
baby.
That's they'll probably be drafting Carson Beck next year, number 1 overall, and that'll be the Giants going forward. But I'm excited for Hard Knocks to see all the training camp battles, see who because there's always I know when they had Detroit, it was Craig Reynolds, the backup running back, third. I mean, you talked about the guy from Howard. Maybe that'll be a dude that'll be like Craig Reynolds.
Yeah,
they always find a story. They'll definitely find a story. But actually, when I forgot where I was going with that, but when I brought up the Hard Knocks, they were talking about Brian Burns, and they were calling him Spider-Man, and I was like, do y'all not see Kyler Gordon doing the backflip where he lands as Spider-Man? Like, how does – I don't know how Brian – I didn't realize he had that nickname.
He's on the Giants now, Burns?
Yeah, they traded for him. Yeah, so they got Thibodeau, Burns, and Dexter Lawrence all on the D-line. Like, it's – I mean, I could probably go play corner for him.
The defense wasn't good last year for the Giants.
No. The O-line was awful, and they knew it too. They said that in the show. You know, they were like, we got – and I know this isn't a Giants show. I'm sorry. But so they went and signed some offensive linemen in free agency. They traded for a defensive line. They lost Saquon, but they added so many other pieces to try and make up for Saquon. And they signed Devin Singletary, who's a decent running back.
Yeah.
Yep. But
Saquon and the Eagles.
Yeah. I think KB said his laptop was about to die, and I know you're about to run out of internet here in about 10 minutes. So
5-10 minutes. Yep. The girls will be back. They went for breakfast at a restaurant because the hotel here, which had a Bears man cave. I made sure I booked the
Did my internet cut or did your internet cut? Oh my God.
And we're back.
Okay. I thought I was messed up. Tooch is frozen. I don't know if he's lost his internet or what was going on. I was just trying to. I think he's lost his internet. But we were just about to close it up. If there's any final thoughts that you wanted to give about the Hall of Fame, which this week, or anything, and of course hit your shout outs and then and we'll get out of here for this week.
Got you. Like I said, man, I'm just interested in watching football, man. There are a couple players I do want to see. I would love to see Austin Booker get some PT, and I would expect him to actually get a lot. You want to see if his kids what's that's advertised with him. Keith from Illinois. You want to see what he's got going on. He was, he's a very solid player at Illinois. That was a very, very sneaky pickup. I don't know too much about some of these guys in the secondary.
Hotel internet got me.
Tuesday said you froze out like a sitcom ending. You just froze out. I thought I was messed up. Yep. I was sitting there confused, and then KB comes back, and I heard KB talk, and I was like, okay, so it's not me. I pulled it up on my phone and everything to see what it looked like. But we're gonna say what we're watching for, and close this thing out and hit shout outs, etc.
Yeah. Yep. So like I say, man, like I said, I don't know too much about some of the young cats in the secondary. So that'd be interesting to see. And see some of these other weapons on offense. Tyler Scott, I expect him to get some PT. You come in on fourth. Velus Jones, whether he's fading in or fading out, we'll love to see. I would love to see Roschon Johnson get some playing time. We see him kind of get the starring role at running back. You know what I'm saying? See how that goes. So there are a couple names that are very interesting to me. The Western Kentucky kid does intrigue me a tad bit. It'd be nice to have a guy down the pipeline. Like I said, I felt that way about Bagent last year. And then, Bagent actually got put on the team and got a lot more shine than what we thought he was going to get. So, yeah, man, I'm excited to see some of these younger, back end of the roster players play. So, but yeah, those are my people, man.
And then if you want to
shout out, I'll let man, shout out everybody in chat, man. Some of y'all folks getting up, man. Shit, I forgot for a second. Hell, I woke up and was stretching and looked at my phone and said, "Oh wait, we got a podcast. Got to get on it." Then the haters, of course, you know what I'm saying, we love them. Don Burr, you getting up, doing your thing, good for you, guy. And also shout out to my boys, man. It's gonna be a hell of a year, man. We got a lot to talk about. The goddamn Hard Knocks is gonna be a big one going into this year. It's gonna be a new dynamic to the show because we're all getting to see the back inner workings of what the team is.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, man, I'm just excited for the season, man. Offense. Oh, the one thing I want to say about offense, best offense that I think we have ever had in my lifetime. There's so many weapons. It's gonna be fun to watch.
Over the J with Brandon and Alshon and Marcellus, that's high praise. Go ahead, Tooch.
Yeah, I mean, with all the skill position talent, I could see this. You know, I mean, they'll probably have to grow into this offense. We might not see it really come alive and start breathing until second half of the season, which might spell good things for that tough second half schedule, man, with the 6 division games at the latter half of the season. But to Don Burr, hey, we came within inches of sweeping the Lions last year.
Oh, don't let him. He always said, "Oh, the Lions was toying with y'all." What the? It was a joke.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to. I mean, it's every Tuesday night, so it's going to cut into the Bare Their Soul show. So Aldo and Dan and I have to make a decision if we're going to do Wednesday nights instead, and then recap the.
That'd be great to do Wednesday.
The show.
You can recap what happened. Yeah,
I'm thinking. Yep. The girls are back, so I will get my shout outs to Barfly, Tailgate, and Aldo, and everyone at Barroom, and all the chat room who was on fire today. Great comments in the chat room today. So, you guys take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time.
All right, see you, brother.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, I just want to say the biggest thing I'm watching for is just like you said, KB. Let's see what these young skill players can do. You know, we've been seeing a lot of clips of Tyler Scott catching some deep balls and doing really well in practice. We'll see if that carries over into an actual game. Velus Jones actually catching the ball, which is insane. I didn't know he had that ability in him.
Right.
Maybe it was the guy throwing the ball. I don't know. But yeah, and you talk about the guy on defense. Hey, you know I love Justin, but you know it is what it is. Randolph, the kid out of Illinois, Booker, the kid out of Kansas. He just gave me another one, Reddy Stewart. I'm gonna have to watch for this guy to see, because I like those the dudes at Troy. They used to have a Kentucky connection down there. Summerall was their coach, and he came from Kentucky. So so I've always kind of liked Troy a little bit. And then Matthew Fochese in the chat gives me a name, the Aussie punter. I told him offline the best punter Kentucky ever had, other than maybe Tim Mastay, who played for the Packers for years and years, was Max Duffy, who was an Aussie punter. He won the Ray Guy Award. He didn't make it in the league because it was a different style, because he did the kind of run, you run away and then you kick it. But I mean, this dude, he seems like a legitimate weapon. They're timing his hang time in training camp and stuff. Like, it's a lot better than, I mean, Mega Punt could boot it up, but this dude can put it.
He can put it where you want to.
Right, exactly. So that'll be something to watch for sure with the defensive-minded head coach. Shout out to UKB and Tooch for coming on with me. Shout out to you, Chris Watts. We'll see you in a few weeks when your laptop's back. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Matthew Fochese's been on fire this morning. Cornelius Squalls, King Buka World. You said, Don Burr was in here earlier. I will say, it's showing me up top here, we have 194 viewers and we have 14 likes on YouTube. So something ain't right.
Hey, man. Likes up, baby.
If y'all can get the likes up, like, comment, subscribe, get our algorithm going in the right direction. Let Aldo know that y'all appreciate what we do and we appreciate what y'all do. So definitely shout out to all y'all. Tune in right here to Barroom Network, where we've got Bears coverage, we've got Bulls coverage, we've got White Sox coverage. We don't really have Cubs coverage, but at this point,
we got to get some Chicago Sky coverage, man. Somebody got to come in here, talk about the girls, baby.
Yeah, maybe Aldo can get somebody on that for sure. But all your Chicago sports are covered right here on Ballroom Network. Just subscribe on YouTube and it'll tell you when we go live. But until I guess we'll be back next week to talk about what we saw in the Hall of Fame game and preview next week's preseason game. Or is it before? I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll be back next Sunday. I'll have to look at the schedule to see if we're previewing or reviewing. But it'll be back next Sunday, 10 a.m. Until next time, bear down.
Bear down, baby. But dang, he must broke out quick.